All right, so get this. We're diving into Workiva today.
Workiva.
Yeah, and it's a company that's down 42% from its all-time high, but Wall Street analysts are still like crazy bullish on it.
Mm.
It's like they know something we don't.
Yeah.
So consider this our little detective mission for this deep dive.
Okay.
To understand what Workiva actually does, why their software is suddenly like so hot, and why those analysts are so optimistic.
Right.
By the end, you'll be able to decide if this is an investment mystery worth solving.
Well, the stock's performance definitely raises some eyebrows.
Yeah.
A disconnect like that usually means there's a deeper story to uncover.
For sure. Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Sure.
What is it that Workiva actually does?
So Workiva provides cloud-based software for businesses,
Okay.
but it's not your typical spreadsheet software.
Right.
They're tackling the increasingly complex world of data aggregation and reporting.
So less about like crunching numbers and more about wrangling them?
Think about it. Companies are using dozens of different applications these days
Mm-hmm.
for sales, marketing, project management, everything.
Oh, yeah.
All that data is scattered across platforms,
Right.
making it a nightmare to pull together for reporting.
Especially with more and more companies relying on remote work and cloud computing.
Yeah,
Things are definitely more fragmented than they used to be.
exactly. And that's where Workiva comes in.
Okay.
Their software integrates with all these different platforms.
Okay.
Think Google Drive, Excel, Salesforce,
Mm-hmm.
and pulls that data into a single dashboard.
Wow.
It's like having a command center for all your business information.
I see. Okay, I'm starting to see why this could be valuable.
Yeah.
But isn't this something that companies have been dealing with for a while?
Yeah.
What makes Workiva's solution stand out now?
So there are a few things.
Okay.
First, the sheer volume and complexity of data that companies have to manage is exploding.
Oh, wow.
Just keeping track of it all is a challenge, let alone making sense of it.
So Workiva's kind of riding that wave of data overload.
More like providing a life raft.
Okay.
But there's another factor driving Workiva's relevance.
Right.
The increasing focus on ESG reporting.
ESG.
Yes.
Okay.
Governments and investors are demanding more transparency from companies about their environmental and social impact.
Right. ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance.
Yep.
It's been a hot topic lately.
For sure.
But how does this tie into Workiva?
Workiva's software isn't just good at pulling data together.
Huh.
It's specifically designed to help companies track and report on their ESG performance.
Okay.
Things like carbon emissions, diversity metrics, supply chain practices.
Gotcha.
All that information can be managed and reported on through their platform.
So they're tapping into a need that's both growing and increasingly urgent.
Absolutely.
Companies have to get on board with ESG reporting, and Workiva is giving them the tools to do it.
Precisely. It's a smart move on their part, and
Yep.
it seems to be paying off. Their recent financial results show that they're not just surviving, they're thriving.
Really. But their stock is down. How does that square with strong financials?
Well, their Q3 2024 earnings were impressive.
Okay.
Record revenue of $186 million, a 17% year-over-year increase.
Wow.
And what's even more interesting is that this growth is accelerating even while they're keeping costs under control.
So they're growing revenue and becoming more profitable.
Exactly.
That's a pretty powerful combination.
Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder why the stock is taking a hit.
It is a head-scratcher for sure.
Yeah.
But it's worth noting that a good chunk of Workiva's growth is coming from their high-spending customers.
Okay.
Those with annual contracts over $100,000.
So it's not just that they're adding more customers.
Right.
It's that they're attracting the right kind of customers.
Mhm.
Those with complex needs and deeper pockets.
Exactly. These are companies who are serious about data management and ESG reporting. They're not just dipping their toes in the water. They're diving in headfirst with Workiva.
Yeah.
And another interesting point,
Okay. Is that 68% of Workiva's customers are using at least two of their products. That tells me they're building a sticky ecosystem once a company gets on board with Workiva.
right.
They tend to stick around and expand their usage.
Okay, so we've got a company with a product that's increasingly in demand. They're attracting high-value customers.
Yeah.
Their financials are looking strong,
Right.
but their stock is down. This is where I get lost. What am I missing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's what makes this whole deep dive so intriguing. The market doesn't always get things right in the short term.
Right.
And sometimes that creates opportunities for investors who are willing to dig a little deeper.
So you're saying that Wall Street might actually be onto something with their bullishness on Workiva?
Yeah.
Even though the stock price isn't reflecting it yet.
Let's look at the analyst ratings.
Okay.
Out of the 11 analysts tracked by the Wall Street Journal, 7 rate Workiva a buy.
Okay.
2 recommend overweight, and the remaining 2 suggest a hold.
No one is recommending selling.
No one.
That's pretty remarkable considering the stock's recent performance.
So even with the dip, the experts are still overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
But what are they seeing that the rest of the market might be missing? What's driving this optimism?
Well, the stock's decline has made its valuation more attractive.
Okay.
Remember that price-to-sales ratio we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
It's a measure of how much investors are willing to pay for each dollar of a company's sales.
Right.
Workiva's price-to-sales ratio has come down significantly since its peak in 2021, making it more appealing from a value perspective.
So it's like Workiva's on sale right now.
You could say that.
Okay.
The underlying business seems to be performing well, and the stock price has become more reasonable. It's like finding a hidden gem in a bargain bin.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
But a good deal doesn't guarantee success. What else is fueling Wall Street's enthusiasm for Workiva?
Remember that Workiva estimates their total addressable market to be around $35 billion?
Oh.
That's massive compared to their current market cap of $5.1 billion.
So there's a huge amount of room for them to grow if they can capture a larger chunk of that market.
Exactly. Now, this doesn't guarantee they'll be successful,
Right.
but it does suggest a compelling growth story.
Okay.
If Workiva can continue to innovate and execute its strategy, they have the potential to become a dominant player in this space. And that's what has Wall Street excited.
So are you saying Workiva is a sure thing?
No, investment is a sure thing.
Okay.
There are always risks to consider.
Cool.
Competition is one factor.
Right.
There are other companies offering solutions in the data aggregation and reporting space.
Yeah.
And some are even specializing in ESG reporting. Workiva will need to keep innovating to maintain its edge.
That makes sense. Any other potential red flag?
Well, they need to continue attracting those high-spending clients.
Right.
Their growth in that segment is encouraging, but maintaining that momentum is crucial.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the broader economic environment.
Right.
A recession or a slowdown in business spending could impact Workiva's growth trajectory.
So while the future looks promising, there are definitely some challenges they need to navigate. But I have to say, this has been a fascinating deep dive. It's like we've peeled back the layers of an onion, uncovering a story that's more complex and intriguing than it first appeared.
I agree. It's a classic case of looking beyond the headlines and digging into the details.
But let's bring it back to our listener for a moment. What does all this mean for them? What are the key takeaways you'd want them to remember?
I think the big takeaway is Workiva offers software that's increasingly becoming essential in the business world.
Yeah.
They're showing really impressive growth, especially among those high-budget clients, and they're strategically positioned in that really hot area of ESG reporting.
Right.
And all of that's making Wall Street pretty optimistic about their future, even though the stock price has taken a little bit of a dip recently.
Okay, so it sounds like that price dip could actually be an opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
For investors who believe in Workiva's long-term potential.
Right.
It's like finding a valuable stock that's temporarily marked down.
Exactly, like it's on sale.
Yeah. But as always, there are risks to consider, right? Competition, economic headwinds.
Yep.
Those are all things to keep in mind.
For sure.
But let's put it to you directly, dear listener.
Okay.
Does this pique your interest?
Yeah. Would you regret not looking into Workiva further, especially given that recent price dip?
I mean, it's something to think about.
Yeah, but here's one final thought to chew on.
Okay.
Think beyond just the financial opportunity.
All right.
Think about the broader impact of Workiva's software.
What do you mean?
Well, if Workiva helps companies become more transparent and accountable, especially when it comes to ESG, that could have a ripple effect on the world around us. More responsible business practices, better environmental stewardship, a more equitable society.
Wow.
Those are all potential outcomes.
So investing in Workiva could be a way to align your portfolio with your values.
Yeah.
A chance to support a company that's really making a difference.
Exactly. It's a fascinating example of how financial decisions can intersect with positive social and environmental change.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this deep dive so compelling. It's not just about numbers and charts.
Right.
It's about the potential for positive impact.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've explored Workiva,
Yeah.
their innovative software, their impressive growth, and the reasons behind Wall Street's optimism. Now it's your turn to decide, dear listener.
Right.
Is this a company you want to investigate further? Is this a growth story you want to be a part of?
As you weigh your options, consider not only the potential financial returns, but also the broader implications. Could this be an investment that not only grows your wealth, but also contributes to a better future?
Food for thought indeed. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Workiva. Until next time. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.